Justin Gaethje's a monster. Justin Gaethje is a monster. He's a monster. He's a terrifying individual. He is, I mean, in a sport that's violent, it's an inherently violent sport, he stands out as the most violent.
That's,
you know how crazy that is? I mean, you watch his knockout of Edson Barboza. You watch how attacks people. There's a reckless abandon to his calculated wildness. That is, it's terrifying. He's something special. He's better all the time.
Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira in May 7th. One of the most anticipated fights is going to take place in the deepest division in the UFC, the lightweight division. Between two of the best fighters in the roster, the highlight Justin Gaethje and the current champion Charles Oliveira.
Oliveira's a monster. He got better. And you gotta accept that and not think of like when he lost. Because his jiu-jitsu was really good, but maybe his striking wasn't as good as his jiu-jitsu, and then slowly his jiu-jitsu and striking merged, where he's like equal. In both of them, he's lethal in. He's lethal in his striking and lethal in his jiu-jitsu. But the difference is his level of jiu-jitsu is a leap higher than most of the people he's competing against. He has the most submissions in the history of the UFC. That's the difference between Oliveira and these guys. It's like they're all really good standing up. He's really good standing up. So there's kind of like an even playing field. But when that motherfucker gets a hold of you, you're in deep danger. Terrifying danger where you can't make any mistakes.
First, we would like to hear from our audience. What do you think? Who is going to win? Please share your prediction with us in the comments.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because remember the last two fights that Charles had, he got hurt. He got hurt. Chandler hurt him pretty bad in the first round, and he came back super strong, right? And with Dustin, the same thing. He got hurt, not as bad, but he got hurt earlier on, and he came on pretty strong. So can Justin hurt him like that right away? And the only difference, I think, in my personal opinion, is I think Justin's more of a killer. And he's more of a killer, and he's gonna. If he hurts Charles, he just might finish him. You know, we won't know till the fight happens. But this is what I say: early, I give Justin; late, I give Oliveira, because he's shown that. He's shown that he's resilient and he comes on stronger. He gets better as the rounds go on. We've seen that from him.
There are several ways that this fight can go by, several scenarios that can happen. We will try to cover it here. If Justin applies Trevor Whitman's advice in the Tony Ferguson fight to cut back on his striking and be more calculated, and don't get carried away, then this will be his win.
Look at me.
Yeah. Got lazy?
No. Take 10% off your shots. You're trying to kill him.
Performance against Tony Ferguson was his best performance in our opinion, and we say that Oliveira now is a better version than Ferguson that night, but if Justin fought the same way, he is going to win. We know that Justin is good at avoiding takedowns. He did a brilliant rollout from a takedown attempt in his fight against Michael Chandler that in our opinion won him the fight, because it demotivated Chandler for the rest of the fight. So if the fight stays in the standing position, our prediction, that Justin is going to win. What do you think? Is this a typical striker versus grappler type of fight? Maybe. Justin's best weapon is his striking and Oliveira's best shot is his grappling. Kind of similar to the Khabib and Justin fight? Also maybe. As for Charles Oliveira, he upsets every prediction we made so far. He was the underdog in the Chandler fight, and he came back from almost certain defeat in the first round like a phoenix and won in the second round. And in the Dustin Poirier fight, he was as well a huge underdog and he made a surprising victory due to Dustin's getting carried away and fighting a sloppy fight. So we will say out of caution, Charles has a chance in the standing, although we think Justin has the upper hand. Due to his power, he hits like a truck, as Khabib said.
You know, this guy, he hit like truck, you know, like nobody hit harder than Justin Gaethje.
Arsenal of strikes in his disposal, but Charles is evolving his striking every fight, so we can't roll him out. If the fight goes to the ground, although we think Justin is very hard to take down, it's a different game. Oliveira is very good on the ground, so he can secure a submission and take the win. But our prediction for this fight, Justin is going to win.